Most active people are already putting in the work. You're hitting the gym or putting in the miles on the trail or the road, but your body is starting to show signs of cracks. One of my students is in her 60s, but she stays very active. She sails, bikes, skis in the winter, and recently she met up with her daughter in Japan, hiking every day, but feeling good through the whole thing. Now, that doesn't mean she's a superhero. She's just like you, but she's doing something different. So if you're a runner, cyclist, hiker, or whatever activity you love, and you want to keep doing that for the next 20 years and beyond without feeling worn out and sore all the time, this is for you because there's a real gap between the people who keep saying yes to those adventures and the ones who really start to step back and slow down. And I'm going to tell you exactly what that is. Most people worry they're going to slow down over time, but it happens more gradually than you might think. It starts with planning something fun, a big hike or a big bike ride on a Saturday, and then not planning something the next day because you know you're going to need that day to recover. But that's not inevitable just because you're getting older. It's a gap in your training, and it's easier to fix than you might think. To stay healthy and active for the long run, you just need three things: strength, movement quality, and recovery. Now, most active people have that first one down, strength. But when we get to movement quality and recovery, there's some areas we can improve. Now, ignoring movement quality and recovery doesn't hurt you immediately, but over time, it really starts to impact you until one day, every morning, you're starting to wake up with stiffness being the first thing you feel. And that's not what we want. This often looks like hobbling to the coffee maker in the morning or it taking longer and longer for you to warm up in your workouts. But here's the thing. This is not something you just have to deal with as you get older. It's something missing from your training. And it's not training more. It's not resting more. It's something totally different that you haven't even considered. Yale researcher Becky Levy followed people for over 20 years and found something crazy. If you believe that you can continue growing and improving as you age, you live 7.5 years longer. Let that sit. You live 7.5 years longer just by believing you don't have to slow down because your actions follow that belief. But if you believe your best years are behind you, your actions follow that. So your body slows down because you do less. So if you keep challenging yourself, your body keeps adapting. That's what the studies show. So that advice that's telling you to lift lighter, skip that really big hike, or trade mountain biking for something a bit more gentle, it's all wrong. And when you follow it, you get the exact opposite of what you're hoping for. Now, your body can't go from the couch straight to a marathon. You do need to build up to that, but your training is the limiting factor, not your age. So the question isn't if your body can keep up with your training over the next 20 years. It's more, are you giving it what it needs to adapt? Now, what those right inputs look like and how much time it takes is where things get really interesting. Most active people don't focus on movement quality and recovery because they think it's going to take a lot of time they don't have. But for active people, it's just not true. You don't need to practice yoga for an hour a day, 6 days a week, if you're already running, biking, hiking, or whatever it is that you enjoy. All you need is 10 to 30 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week. That's it. Especially when you're following my progressive yoga system, which builds in both movement quality and real recovery. You're getting tissue circulation. We're expanding your range of motion, and we're giving your nervous system the signal to fully reset all within that short period of time. One of my other students, Swati, enjoys hiking, backpacking, and snowboarding in the winter. And after just 4 weeks with 2 to 3 classes a week, she told me she felt less stiff, she had less pain, her legs felt stronger, and she saw more mobility in her movements. And she even stuck with it through a crazy stretch at work where she traveled to a conference and then got sick. This is so much easier when classes are just 10 to 30 minutes. You're building capacity to keep doing what you love for the next 20 years and beyond. But there's one thing most people skip entirely that makes all the difference. Now, before we move on, make sure you grab that 10-minute yoga reset down below so you can try what a class like this really feels like. If you walked into the gym and did random exercises every day, would you expect to get stronger? Or if you're training for your next 5 or 10K and you just did whatever felt good for the day, no plan, no structure, would you expect that your next race would go better? We know those things are crazy, but when it comes to our recovery, we do something totally different. We maybe do a stretch after a workout, pop into a yoga class when you're starting to feel a little beat up, no plan, no structure, but then we expect it to work differently. You wouldn't train for a race that way, so your recovery deserves the same structure. A real plan progresses over time. It targets the areas where you need to improve and focuses on the areas that support your other activities. Following a structured plan for yoga works the same. It means you're not guessing and you don't have to figure it out on your own. And this is why all of my programs include monthly practice plans. Whether you're a member of my Outflow studio or you've joined my yoga accelerator, everything is mapped out for you. There's no guessing, you just show up and follow the plan. The goal is to become the person who can say yes when you get an invitation to go hiking, biking, running, big ski trip, whatever adventure comes your way. Don't wait until you're forced to slow down to start building a practice like this. Do it now while you feel good so you never have to find out what slowing down or breaking down really feels like. You're probably wondering what your body needs to reset between workouts. Click the video on the screen and I'll show you the full picture.